After 8 or 9 years, we finally have an update to the single pedal Ditto Looper from TC Electronic, the Ditto Plus Looper. Today we're gonna talk about all the new features and the pros and cons. So let's go ahead and unpack it. What's happening, guys? Randy Rektor here, back at it with another one, and I was really excited to see that TC Electronic released this pedal. I used the original Ditto Looper about 8 years ago, and then upgraded to the Ditto X2 shortly after. Used that for probably 5 years, probably more than like 300 hours, playing on cruise ships down in the South Pacific. It was a tough life, but somebody had to do it. And my wife actually used the Ditto mic looper on her YouTube channel as well. So we are no strangers to the Ditto family. When I saw this pedal came out, I was really excited. Full disclosure, I ordered this pedal with my own money, and spoiler alert, I don't plan on keeping it, but I'll explain why. All right, so where does this product fit within their lineup? So they have the original Ditto Looper, and then they added a stereo version of that, which is basically all the same functionality, except now you can plug in 2 instruments. Then they added the Ditto Looper the Ditto X2 Looper. This is the one that I have, and this allows stereo input, but also allows some additional functionality like a dedicated stop button, or you can speed your loop by 50%, play it slow-mo, you can play it backwards. So there's some cool functionality that you can get with that. The reason I bought that pedal was the dedicated stop button, but I'll explain more on that in just a bit. And then of course they have the Ditto X4 Looper, which is all the bells and whistles, multi-pedals, you've got all the options. And this Ditto Plus Looper fits right around here, right by the first one. It's basically the first pedal plus a little, hence the title. I don't actually see why they're selling that anymore, to be honest, with this new one in place, but I guess some people might not need the additional features, so you can save 20 bucks if you buy the original. All right, so what's new with the Ditto Plus Looper? The very first thing is the memory bank. So they've added 99 programmable memory banks. You can basically record your guitar and save them into any one of these presets, or you can add things like click tracks or backing tracks. You can load these in through USB, as well as store your files on your computer and load them in at a different time. So if you're building up sets, now you can build up sets and add backing tracks and play them through this pedal. And you can use the volume control to basically just choose the volume of the backing track. So a lot of customizability with such a small little device. The next feature they have is the extended loop function. What's really cool about this is it allows you to play longer overdubs over top of short overdubs. And what it'll do is it'll keep repeating those short overdubs till you're done recording the long one, and then call that whole section the new loop. What's really awesome about this is a lot of the time when you're building loops, you want to kind of do it quickly, and you don't really want to have to play through, like especially if you're playing acoustic guitar and you're doing some scratches, like now, after doing 1 bar of scratches, you can loop that and then play a 12-bar blues over top of that. And now it's gonna record the whole 12-bar blues with 12 single bars of percussion, so you can kind of get to the song a lot quicker. Whenever you're in the last section that you'd like to loop over, you can press the stop button anywhere within that section, and it'll know that when it gets to the end of that, then it needs to stop. So this is really great for making clean endings on your songs, or just kind of, you know, going from section to section without having any overlap over the bar. And the last feature that they have on the Ditto Plus is the new display. It's the first pedal in their lineup to have a display, and it's pretty sweet. It's plenty bright. You can see it outside, no problem. So I have no question about being able to use it on a stage whenever we're allowed to play on stages again. Can't wait for that. And it allows for 3 things really. The first thing is knowing what you're pressing, because it is a single button. The functionality of that button changes depending on where you're at, whether you're recording or playing back or whether you're stopped. So it's nice to know what the functionality of that button is. Second thing it allows you to do is to see where you're at within your loop, which is really convenient for knowing when you're about to finish the loop and go back to the beginning. And the third and final thing is it helps while you're scrubbing through backing tracks. Jogging through 99 backing tracks without a display sounds awful, so it's great to have that as well. For those of you who might be new to a Ditto Looper, here's how you use one. You press once and start playing your loop, and then when you're done and you're ready to loop back to the beginning, you press again. Now it's gonna start playing that loop. Then when you're ready to record, you press the 3rd time, and it's gonna start writing over that loop. And what's cool about this is you can continuously keep writing. It'll just keep going forever and ever, unlimited amount of times. You can even undo or redo layers, press twice to stop, and press and hold to clear that current loop. As for the audio quality, it does have true analog bypass. Now, because this is a recording device, it is a computer, we do have to worry about A to D conversion and the processing inside of it. So for that, it is 24-bit audio. And I have to say, it's really transparent. I've never had a concern about the audio quality, especially because the vast majority of the times that I'm looping, it's live, so I don't care too much about the audio quality. It's not like I'm recording this for an album or something. It sounds great. There's really no problems with that. It also has the ability to import and export your tracks via USB, so that's pretty sweet. And of course, the whole thing comes in this tiny, tiny little form factor. So that brings me to build quality. I have to say, TC has done an awesome job. The whole unit is really solid metal. The buttons are chunky and they have little to no play at all. The jacks are good, just as you'd expect. But even ergonomically, one thing that I don't think a lot of people consider is that this button was placed really close to the edge. And I'm not sure if this was intended by TC, but what this allows you to do is keep your heel flat while you're playing, like keep it flat on the ground and press the pedal from off the pedal, as opposed to doing like the floating heel thing, where you try to like click your pedal like that. You should be able to access it with your heel on the ground, which I find gives you a little bit more stability and control, so that when you're trying to click something in time, it's just a little bit easier to do. On the right side here, we have the standard 1/4 inch input. We've got a standard 9-volt DC. This is good for any sort of one-spot power adapter or something off of your Voodoo Labs power supply. It has a USB-B, and it comes with the USB-B to A cable for importing and exporting files. According to the manual, this isn't for powering your device, it's only for file transfer. Nothing here on the top. On the right side, we just have the output 1/4 inch, and nothing on the bottom. On the underside, there isn't anything except for these 4 screws to open it up. Now you can't use 9-volt power for this, you do have to plug it in. And it did come with these 3M feet that fit that spot perfectly if you do want some sort of sticky feet for your pedal board. And then on the top, we have the 2 navigation buttons, as well as the main knob here for your backing track. And then of course, your button for looping. Now, as far as reliability goes, I don't have too much experience with this pedal, but with the Ditto X2 looper, as I mentioned, I used that on the cruise ships in the South Pacific, and my wife and I played up on the pool deck a lot, and so we were literally sitting in the pool deck in direct sunlight for 3-4 hours at a time sometimes, and this was sitting in the sun, getting splashed by pool water, getting rained on occasionally, and the entire time that we were on the ship, I had one issue with the looper, and as soon as I unplugged it and plugged it back in, it worked perfectly again. So I expect that this pedal will probably follow suit, hopefully, but I can't really speak too much on the long-term quality, but I've been really happy with their pedals so far. Now, I have to say, one of the biggest cons of this looper, and it's no fault of TC, it's really just a fault of a single pedal looper, is that to stop the loop, you have to double tap. Now, I don't know if I'm just broken, my 2 left feet, I don't know what's going on. I can't be coordinated enough to stop this with 2 taps and have it stop in time with the music. I just found it super unmusical to have to go like da-da at the end of a song. So that's why I actually bought the Ditto X2, because it does have the dedicated stop button. I can't get used to doing this. I don't know, maybe you guys are way more coordinated than I am. Yeah, I can't do it. So I need the dedicated stop button. So that's gonna be the reason why I get rid of this. The second con is navigation. I don't think it's that practical to use a tiny little display like this and these little buttons to go left and right to navigate through 99 different loops. I love that the features are there. I just don't think that I would literally ever use those features, especially not on stage. Like, I'm never gonna hunch over my pedal board and dig through tracks and press play and be like, oh no, it's the wrong track, dig through. Like, that, I don't know. I don't see too much of a place for that. Definitely works for your woodshed downstairs where you're just practicing. You can load up your backing tracks. For sure, it works for that. But for me, I probably wouldn't use this live. It'd be more of a practice tool. Well guys, that's it for this one with the Ditto Plus looper. I hope that this video was immensely helpful for you. And if it was, please feel free to throw a like down below and subscribe if you're interested in more nerdy stuff like this. I hope that you guys are able to use this as an awesome practicing tool to improve upon your guitar skills. See ya.